Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
Hey guys,
now.
Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Before I get started, lots going on in silver as usual. Today is the last day. We're ending the Veritasium giveaway on the private road to Ruta today at midnight. So it would be, what is the date today? The 5th. March 5th at midnight, we're going to stop giving away the Veri token. The Veritasium has been spiking and spiking and spiking. It might be ready to make that run to one-to-one with Bitcoin in Cliff High's data. That would be, everybody's like, no way, not a chance. You know, the government shut them down. They didn't, actually. They paused Veritasium. It is all on hold right now until the system falls apart, until we need, those of you who've read The Great Taking know how much we need Veritasium to put an identifier on every single one of the securities and bonds and stocks and you name it. I think that is a solution that the good guys have. So hang on to your hats when it comes to that. But we are ending the Veritasium giveaway today at midnight. So if you want Veri, you can add to your subscription. You can add another year and get another Veri token. But we mail them to your front door, by the way. Paper, crypto, mailed to your front door. Stick it in your stack of silver. Speaking of stacks of silver, I posted Jenny Moonstone discussion yesterday. We talked about the eclipse drama, whether or not this is a real silver run, the XRP con. I've been screaming about XRP is a massive con, but you know nobody wants to listen to me there. And then the choice between Theta and Theta Field. Really interesting stuff for private road members. Go to roadtour.com and check it out. All right. Is this the silver run? People are telling me, yeah, I can't wait till it gets to over 30. I'm going to sell over 30. And I can't wait till it gets 50. I'm going to sell at 50. And I'm like, probably not the most brilliant thing you could possibly do. We have 180 years of silver price suppression that's about to be cut free from these criminal assholes. That's a lot of price suppression. The gold silver ratio is up at 85 to 1, something like that. It should be about 3 to 1, maybe 1 to 1. And when it gets into the frenzy, I'm thinking 1 to 10, meaning 1 ounce of silver will buy you 10 ounces of gold. And you might think, oh, Bix, you're crazy. The only reason you'd think that is because you're looking at the price of silver in the past 180 years versus the price of gold. The price has been rigged for 180 years. Price suppressed for 180 years. Everything else, when you look at the price of silver to the price of gold, is screaming at silver-gold ratio below 10, obviously. There's about 1 ounce of each on the planet that will be possible to come back into the market. The rest is gone. Remember, way back when silver was used as money, the ratios averaged 8 to 10, sometimes 20 to 1. And then in the early 1900s, we hit the Industrial Revolution. And we started using silver in all these products. And then we hit the computer revolution. Everything's electronic, the best conductor of electricity. You would think that the price ratio would be going down, 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 down. But no, because of the market rigging, because of the invention of the COMEX, futures and options trading floor, they can put the price at anything they want. That's the only reason that the price of silver today is not 1 to 1 with gold. There's 6 billion ounces of each on the planet that could come back into the market. Gold can come back really easily because when I heard it's closer to 7 billion ounces now. That's how long I've been in this game. They mine a lot of gold all the time. And what happens to the gold? They stick it back in a vault. Silver, on the other hand, is gobbled up, used up, and thrown away. Believe it or not, it is the most shocking thing. And the only reason that happens is because of the price suppression. So even if we go back 100 years when the gold-silver ratio was, say 15 to 1, that made sense with the above-ground stocks of gold and silver. There was about 15 times as much silver as there was gold. Now that's flipped because we're consuming it. So the true gold-silver ratio is either, one, the amount of above-ground stocks, which should be 1 to 1, or the amount coming out of the ground used as money. Because right now it's coming out of the ground at 7 to 1, But as of last year, 100% of the mining of silver is used up in industrial consumption, and that is not going to change. So that gets us back to 1 to 1 or even 1 to 10, where 10 ounces of gold buys you 1 ounce of silver. And where are we today? 85 to 1, which makes no sense at all. That is what you need to think about when you're thinking about, should I sell my silver at $30? Should I sell my silver at $50? Should I sell my silver at $100? Should I sell my silver at $1,000? I don't care about the price. You shouldn't care about the price. If you sell your silver at $30, good on you. You made a couple bucks. If you sell your silver at $50, you're missing the biggest move in the history of moves. Because, just think of the technical traders. Is there any resistance after $50? None. It'll hit $50, cut through it like a knife through butter, and then silver at $50, it'll probably bounce around a little bit, but it will become a new floor. That's the way the tech traders see it. Think about it. Silver was $50 in 1980. How many fiat monetary inventions were made? All those derivatives, those are monetary instruments. All that should be judged against how much silver is on the planet. So yes, I do. Cliff High's prediction of silver going unobtainium. I can see that obviously now. I've been doing this for 25 years. I can see it. I've been hodling silver for 25 years, and I don't regret 1 minute of it. I know what's going to happen. And I've showed you guys who's controlling it, why they're controlling it, how they're controlling it. These criminals behind the scenes and the institutions that support them. Like CPM Group, Jeffrey Christian over there, 100% controlled and owned by the bankers. The Silver Institute and Metals Focus, we're trying to break them out of their control, but they're going stubbornly, shall we say. We'll find out on the 17th when they report supposedly now, after hearing the chairman of the board of the Silver Institute say, we had 300 million ounces used in solar last year. Holy crap. Massive admission, a year and a half too late, but massive admission. And now the report is going to have to reflect that. And if not, they're going to have to explain. Oh, by the way, it's not 300. It's probably 350 to 4. I'm using 350 million because they made massive amounts of silver that they threw in warehouses. Of solar panels they threw in warehouses that used silver last year. But there's different ways you can judge how much silver was used. You can judge it by how many watts of silver were installed. 443 was the total for 2023 gigawatts. Right there is about 300 million ounces, not counting the extra that is bulging out of inventories. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, yes, silver will see a little resistance at 30. Would I sell? No, like I said, you're not waiting for the price to do something. You're waiting for the end of price manipulation. And that will end when the COMEX shuts down, and that will also destroy the banking cabal. So I can't even express to you. You won't know the price of silver for probably months and months. You won't even know the price of silver. When the COMEX shuts down, we have a massive derivative problem. $2 quadrillion in derivatives about to destroy and wipe clean the entire financial system. There is nowhere you can be safe. The FDIC doesn't have any money. They barely have enough to bail out one bank, much less the entire system. And then who's going to bail out the derivative losers? The largest derivative U.S. bank, and maybe the largest derivative player in the world, is J.P. Morgan Chase. The senior management of J.P. Morgan Chase is knee-deep in Epstein. What's going to happen when that goes down? I can't think of a worse bank to be involved with than J.P. Morgan Chase. They will take out every bank on the planet, every savings and loan, every credit union, every stock and bond company on the planet. Read The Great Taking. It is about to happen. Your assets, if you don't hold them, they ain't yours. And if it's a promise, like some people are grabbing their shares of mining stocks and saying, oh, I have my own share. Good luck with that. They've been rehypothecated many times, and people will just laugh at you. Mining shares are all going to be nationalized when this all goes down, all of them, even in the United States of America. Sure, you'll get fiat money for, maybe for whatever the value of it, but there'll be no stock market even open at the time. I think the worst investment to have is mining shares right now. There's no way. I mean, Mexico's already starting to shut down mines. They want to ban open pit mining. Good night, whole silver industry. Everybody is playing the game. So yes, silver's up 50 cents. Big deal. Big whoop. Like Cliff said, we're going to have dollar days, $5 days, $10 days, $20 days, and then the COMEX will shut down. And say, oh yeah, we're just, today or yesterday, they increased margins. When they do that, it means they're in high stress. CME raised gold margins by 6.8% and silver margins by 11.8%. The CME, they own the COMEX, and the CFTC, who's the regulator, collude together to try and assist the market riggers. Try their best. I would say that Janet Yellen is the number one market rigger right now through the Exchange Stabilization Fund. Anyway, so yeah, gold and silver are rocking. So here's where we are when you're thinking about, oh, are they going to slam it again? Are the commercials going to slam it again? Look how far it has risen above where the commercials slam. This would take quite a bit of metal. Remember, the only reason to slam the price of silver is to close out shorts, meaning somebody else is going to have to buy it off you. Who in their right mind would go short silver? Even the dealers who are trying to hedge their inventory, I would stay away from the COMEX for a while. Just sit with it. Stop hedging. Stop selling your silver. Hang on to it. Truthfully, that's the point we're going to get to. You're not going to be able to call up Miles Franklin and say, give me my silver. You're not going to be able to call up your local dealer. You're not going to be able to drive over there. The price will be too volatile. No one will know the price when the COMEX goes haywire. So get your physical silver. Get it in your own possession now. Contact Andy Shackman, info@milesfranklin.com. Say, hey, send me your inventory list. Buy from inventory right now. Do not say, oh, yeah, we'll get you your silver eagles in 3 weeks. No, move on to the next dealer. Or whatever you're buying. If they have to wait, we got a shipment coming in. If you got somebody you trust, you can't trust where they're going to come from. This thing can end at any moment. Let's talk about the U.S. Mint. Another gigantic screw-up from probably one of the most important institutions going forward after the crash, the U.S. Mint, if you're American. Errors in U.S. Mint's 2024 proof set COA. Those who bought and received the U.S. Mint's 2024 proof set will notice inaccuracies in the inside panel of the set's certificate of authenticity. This is not the first time these assholes have done this. They are completely upside down. From top to bottom, the U.S. Mint has been destroyed by a single person acting upon orders of others, and that person is Ventris Gibson, the human being that Joe Biden chose to be the head of the U.S. Mint, the most important mint on the planet. Used to be, now it's number 2. As far as making silver eagles, they make more silver maple leaves thanks to this single human being. How can one human being destroy the U.S. Mint's reputation, destroy its standing in the metals community? Because she had no idea anything about a mint. Nothing. Listen to Ventris. This is the director of the U.S. Mint. Listen to her bio and ask yourself, why the hell would Joe Biden elect this human being to run the U.S. Mint? Gibson began her career in the United States Navy. She later joined the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs as serving as Director of Human Resources from 1996 to 1998 and Deputy Assistant Secretary for Human Resource Management from 1998 to 2003. During her tenure, Gibson participated in an investigation into allegations of sexual harassment at the Fayetteville Veterans Hospital. She served as Chief Human Capital Officer at the Federal Aviation Administration from 2003 to 2010. Very distinguished career in HR, human resources. I'm not talking shit about human resources. I have my own human resources department named Amy Weir. Human resources is necessary, but it has nothing to do with the operation of business. It has to do with the operation of people and how to make their lives easier and less stressful, and how to structure it so you don't get sued. Going on, in 2012 to 2013, Gibson worked as a consultant for North Highland. She later joined the National Labor Relations Board, serving as acting Chief Human Capital Officer in 2013. From 2014 to 2015, she's jumping around quite a bit. She served as Associate Deputy Secretary of the United States Health and Human Services for Human Resources. She served as Director of the District of Columbia of Human Resources from 2015 to 2021. What? She'd never had any experience at all doing anything outside of human resources. And human resources is a completely different part than any business you work in. Any business. Human resources, that's where the people are made happy. You put in the right procedures so that you don't have discrimination. You have all that stuff. And I'm not shitting on the human resource profession. My stepmom was big goddammit, as they say in human resources. But she's the first one to tell you that human resources is about people. It's not about running a business. It's not about knowledge of the gold and silver markets. It's not about knowledge how to mint and sell and run an operation like that. And then Joe Biden says, hey, let's put her as the head of the mint. Probably the most important government facility, government entity in the whole United States if the system crashes. And then Gibson joined the United States Mint as Deputy Director and Acting Director in 2001. That's when the U.S. Mint started not making silver coins. I talked to the head of Silver Eagle Sales, Jack Sherman. He says he was told by his boss, which is Ventris Gibson, to stop selling Silver Eagles. Stop altogether. He's like, we can't stop selling Silver Eagles. Okay, how many we can sell? How many can we sell without making a ruckus? What's the minimum amount we could sell? I have it all on a recorded conversation with literally, I called customer service. They couldn't answer my questions, so they gave me Jack Sherman, the head of Silver Eagle Sales. Been there, 75-year-old guy, I think at the time when I talked to him. Been there for decades. And he listed 5 things that the U.S. Mint was doing illegally. Not meeting demand, making coins to meet demand, purposefully stopping Silver Eagle sales. The reason I'm saying all this is they've stopped Silver Eagle sales. They haven't posted one Silver Eagle sale in over a month. They have stopped selling Silver Eagles, again, completely against the law. And that is, I'll guarantee you, a mandate from Ventris Gibson. Who's Ventris Gibson's boss? None other than Janet Yellen, U.S. Treasury Secretary. I met Janet Yellen back in the 90s. Not impressive at all. A yes girl. Okay, here's what Yellen's doing. Yellen is pissing off China now. Why? Because she's going to the Chinese and saying, stop making solar panels. Stop making electric cars. You're using too much silver. You have to stop. That last line, I threw in there. That first 2 lines, that is what Yellen is going to China for. They met in Anchorage, Alaska, first of all, and now she's going directly to China to beg. Jenny Moonstone picked up on this on the last reading, by the way. She nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Yellen launches contentious meetings on Chinese excess production threat. Look at this. U.S. wouldn't rule out trade barriers for photovoltaics in face of Chinese overcapacity. The U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, has said the U.S., quote, wouldn't want to rule out protective trade measures to combat the overcapacity of solar photovoltaics and energy storage manufacturing in China. Speaking in Anchorage, Alaska, ahead of a meeting with the Vice Premier of China, He Lifeng, Janet Yellen said that the Biden administration, quote, takes resiliency of supply chains seriously and that trade and investment with China needs to be on an even playing level. Asked if the U.S. would impose trade barriers to combat overcapacity capacity for clean energy manufacturing in China. She said, we are trying to nurture an industry, for example, solar cells, electric batteries, electric vehicles, and these are actually all areas where we think that massive investment in China is creating some overcapacity. So let me get this straight, Janet Yellen and Joe Biden, the green energy champions. You're telling these people to stop making, you're making too many cheap solar panels and electric cars. When you're yelling at them for over polluting, they're the biggest polluter in the world. They said, oh, we can fix that. We'll turn everything electric. Now you're yelling at them for doing that. That's what China is telling the United States right now. Janet Yellen, that's what she's hearing. China's saying, shut the F up. That's exactly what China just said to Janet Yellen. You're a joke. Get out of my world. We'll make as many solar panels as we want. We're going green, not by 2050, by 2030. That's why we installed 220 gigawatts of power, half the world's power last year. That's why we're going to double it again this year, Janet. And yes, of course it uses massive amounts of silver. But this is what you asked for. You wanted us to go green. We're doing it. We're doing it better than you are. All you do is talk to your media about, electric vehicles don't work. Solar power doesn't work. That's all your media is saying now. I love my electric car. Amy's electric car, when she allows me to drive. I love trips in it. It is awesome. Yeah, if you live up in the cold, you don't get the distance and the mileage. Don't let the media fool you. Hertz Rent-A-Car should never ever in human history should have bought a fleet of electric cars. Understanding how to work an electric car, where to stop, what's the appropriate amount of time. I mean, Tesla just tells you on the screen, hey, if you want to go from San Francisco to New York, here's the route. Here's exactly the amount of time it'll take you, and here's where you charge. It's easy. I mean, you get 300-400 miles to the charge, and then you have to stop for an hour to charge back up, and you're not going to drive that long anyway. You go have lunch, you watch a movie on Netflix, right, as you're sitting in your car. It is insane what the media is saying about electric cars and solar power. And the California, who said every car has to be an electric car, and everybody should have a solar panel, is now taking away all the benefits of owning solar. You used to be able to sell it back into the grid. Now you can't do that. I tried to put Tesla tiles on the roof of my house. They wouldn't let me. They would only let me do a third of my power generation. Some crazy rules. I'm like, I just want all the tiles to be Tesla tiles. And they said, well, we can do about a third of energy-generating tiles, and then we can put the rest in fake tiles. I'm like, I don't want fake tiles. Just give me all. I don't care. No, sorry, we can't do that. That's against the law. Oh, my God. China's just saying, take that, America. So that's what this is about. The criminal Western banking market riggers are in trouble. The rest of the world has found out the con. And the rest of the world is saying, it's time to end it. And it is not a coincidence that it is happening right before one of the most contentious elections probably in U.S. history. At least contentious for the deep state, both Republican and Democratic deep state. If Trump gets back in, do you think any Democrat will pay taxes even? By the way, taxes are what, next week? I highly recommend filing an extension till October. I'm just saying, a lot can happen between now and then. A lot of people I know they're just not going to pay taxes. Just think about what you're giving the Biden administration money to give to his buddies in the Ukraine, Zelensky and friends, to funnel it back through FTX to give to politicians. Is that a con or what? And you're literally paying to do that. You're paying your hard-earned money for them to do that, and then to do all the other beyond evil things that politicians are doing now. And it's going to come out before the election. So hang on to your hats. There won't be any taxes. The banks crash, there is no taxes. There are no taxes due. Zero. Why? Because all the money's gone. This crazy electronic monetary system set up in the early 1970s by Alan Greenspan, the world's best computer programmer back then. God bless him for creating an easy way for the bankers to, make money out of thin air. But he knew at the end of the day, you give people the ability to print as much money or create out of thin air as much money as you want. They're going to do it, and they're going to use it, and they're going to destroy the system ultimately. And that's where we are. That's the destruction of the fiat monetary system will be destroyed by the collapsing of the derivative bubble. We kind of saw it in 2008, but they patched it over with about $20 trillion after it was rehypothecated from the couple billion that the government gave them. This time, I think if they're going to save the system, they probably need, I used to say 30, I used to say 20, it's probably $30 trillion right from the Fed and the U.S. government. $30 trillion, and then they can fractionally reserve that up to $300 trillion. It still would only patch it for a couple of years. But the problem now is all our enemies know. It's not like China doesn't know about silver. Why do you think Yellen's over there? That's the only reason Janet Yellen said, "Oh my God, we better talk to China. They're making too many solar panels." And I've been screaming this for 8 months now. So those of you in the know have sold all their stocks, all their bonds, got their money out of the bank, are sitting with plenty of physical silver. Even the gold bugs have sold, most of them on the road route. I would expect them to sell most of their gold and swap it for silver. If you love gold, let's just say you have 10 ounces of gold. You can swap it for 85 ounces of silver. No, 850 ounces of silver. And then when the shit falls apart and gold and silver are freely traded, you can go back, and when it's 1 for 1, you can turn your 10 ounces of gold into 850 ounces of gold. If you love gold, you should sell it for silver today. It seems obvious, but the actual act of taking your physical gold down to your local coin shop or calling up Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin saying, "Hey, I got all this gold. I want to swap it for silver, probably a year or two, and then I'm going to swap it back, and you're going to do the swap back for me." And they do that. And they'll charge you a commission, buy and sell. Sometimes they'll, one of them, they won't do the commission, but they'll work with you. It seems like a no-brainer, but the actual act of doing it, people just can't get off their ass. It's so much easier to buy SLV with a click of a button. And mining companies, I love you. I got started in mining companies. That's what I did in the banking world. I was like, we were leasing mining equipment to these amazing companies. I was like, oh my God, there's so much wealth on the ground. But the more you think about it, and where we are now, with the collapse of the banking system, or the collapse of government, or the collapse of all of it, every country is just going to put their arms around all their mines and say, okay, what do we have? The citizens have nothing right now. What do we have? That's exactly what was written in the Road to Ruta documents, the original documents that came out of the Fed. Shows Ruta walking up to the bank with a stack of 39 gold coins, cashing it in for money. And that's what's going to be happening. Now, there's different ways to do things, and I do highly recommend having some cryptos for the future. Great video Reggie just put out. I don't know if he made it or had it made. Watch this video of what Reggie's talking about. When people think about Veritasium, most crypto people are completely clueless about what Veritasium is and what does it mean to have the intellectual property, the patent on the DeFi system, the patent on almost everything other than the standalone blockchain. Listen to this one.
Can you imagine a world where financial transactions are instantaneous, secure, and devoid of costly intermediaries? A world where the power of finance is truly decentralized. This is the future that Reggie Middleton, a prominent American entrepreneur, financial analyst, and inventor, envisions with his deep involvement in blockchain technology and significant contributions to fintech through his patented inventions. Middleton's journey into the world of finance was anything but ordinary. Known for his sharp analytical skills and contrarian investment strategies, he made his mark as a financial seer, predicting the collapse of major global institutions long before they happened. Institutions like Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Washington Mutual, and Countrywide. He even foresaw the rise of tech giant Google and the fall of Research in Motion, the company behind the once popular BlackBerry. These predictions are not mere coincidences, but a testament to Middleton's deep understanding of market dynamics and his ability to identify winning investment strategies. His foresight is not limited to financial markets alone. He also predicted the collapse of commercial real estate, state and municipal debt, and the European sovereign debt crisis. His knack for accurate predictions earned him the top spot in CNBC's stock draft twice in a row, an achievement that had never been seen before and has not been repeated since. Recognizing the potential of blockchain technology as early as 2013, Middleton founded Veritasium, a company that uses blockchain and smart contracts to create peer-to-peer capital markets. This innovation allows for direct transactions between parties without the need for traditional centralized financial intermediaries, reducing costs and increasing efficiency in financial transactions. Beyond founding Veritasium, Middleton has made significant strides in the realm of intellectual property. He has filed numerous patent applications globally, yielding 4 foundational technology patents that cover key aspects of blockchain technology in value transfer applications. These patents set the groundwork for future developments in decentralized finance, enabling secure, efficient value transfers without the need for costly intermediaries. With a generality index of nearly perfect 0.9441, Middleton's patents indicate widespread applicability across diverse technological fields. His technological impact factor surpasses the foundational patents of Google and Amazon, and is poised to redefine interactions within and between industry powerhouses. Despite attempts to invalidate his patents, Middleton's technology continues to be recognized and cited by hundreds of globally powerful brands, from Silicon Valley to Wall Street. Middleton's journey extends beyond finance and technology. He was an Olympic-level martial artist, exemplifying his commitment to physical and mental excellence in all endeavors. Reggie Middleton is not just a financial analyst, entrepreneur, or inventor. He is a visionary. His contrarian insight, innovative spirit, and dedication to transforming the global landscape have driven him to create a world where financial power is decentralized, transactions are efficient and secure, and value creation is accessible to all. He has dedicated his life to bringing meritorious access to the machines of value creation, access, and transfer, a true testament to applied Darwinian theory.
There you go. The fact that the U.S. government took this guy down, the SEC took him down in the most brutal way possible. They let him live. How's that? They took away all his money. They banned him from cryptos ever because they're so scared of him. They froze. They did not delete, did not confiscate. They froze 98% of all Veritasium tokens. And they gave him keys to that wallet. It's a multi-sig wallet, meaning the U.S. government and Reggie have to agree to unlock that wallet. I think that is what's coming. That's what Cliff High saw in his data. Anybody in cryptos, if you have any crypto, you need a little bit of Veritasium as an insurance policy. He has the 100% the patents on DeFi in the U.S. and in Japan. The entire DeFi. He has the patents on most everything other than the original Bitcoin blockchain and original blockchains. Yes, a lot of what Theta does is in violation of Reggie's patent. All the cryptos. Now, Reggie's not trying to destroy anybody. He just wants to get paid for his invention from 2014 patent. Just because the United States government took him out doesn't invalidate the fact that he invented this stuff and patented it. We wouldn't have gotten in this crazy position where all the crypto people are pissed off at Reggie because it's decentralized. Well, if it's decentralized, it doesn't matter. Patents don't matter in a decentralized world. But the reality is that 95 to 98% of all cryptos are not decentralized. Clearly, no DeFi is decentralized. If there's anybody you can go after, it is not decentralized. It has aspects of decentralization. But, I mean, it's just insane. And it was done on purpose. It was done on purpose to throw a monkey wrench into cryptos. It was done on purpose to save the banking cabal. But it is such an amazing tool to use after the crash. Imagine the whole system falls apart. We find out that all stocks, bonds, everything has been rehypothecated a zillion times. And it's called The Great Taking. Watch The Great Taking, the documentary, and read the book, The Great Taking. It is 100% true. I was in banking. I know the UCC filings that had, back then I didn't fully understand what they could do with that. But you have nothing. If it's not in your own possession without any third parties, you have nothing. You have zero. You have a claim. And that claim does not take priority. Stocks, bonds, mining shares. Now is the end game. It's the end game. People are asking, well, why is Veritasium going up? I don't know, maybe one person out of the 7-8 billion people on the planet said, oh my God, I better get some Veritasium, and went in and tried to buy a little bit, and it jumped to $40. Wait till everybody tries to buy it. The liquidity, I mean, the 24-hour volume's under $300,000 for Veritasium, whereas Bitcoin is $39 billion. I've been doing this stuff a long time. There's certain investments that I've just narrowed down to must-have type of stuff. Silver, obviously, for 25 years, it's been a must-have for me. At first, it was mining shares. And then about 15 years ago, I'm like, I ran the scenario. What is the scenario? When the monetary system breaks down, we go back to a gold and silver standard, every country on the planet is going to nationalize their own mines. You have to. The people have nothing. So I got out of mining stocks. Physical silver in your own possession. I've been fighting that fight for very long. Crypto's come around. I poo-pooed it in the beginning. It cost me a hell of a lot. Cliff High explained to me, hey, you got to look at this as a standalone asset. It's something completely different. It's new. But, remember when Katie Couric? Remember Katie Couric? She said on Good Morning America, they'd just come out with email. And she says, mail over the intranet? How can you put mail through the wires? It was just a classic. And you look back now and it's like, what an idiot. 10 years from now, we're going to look back at people who halfway poo-pooed cryptos and say, oh my God, what idiots. A standalone asset with no third-party risk? That's massive. And then what Theta is doing is they're going to put a Theta Edge node on every single cell phone on the planet to help share broadband. The amount of problems that solves in AI, in storage, Google sees it right away. They're partnered with Theta. Theta is going into the thousands of dollars per token, as Michelle Whitedove saw, because it's going to be the most useful crypto on the planet by far. The ability to share extra broadband on your phone, on your TV, on your computer. You don't have to build 5G towers or as many. The ability to share your hard drive. That's what Google Cloud is all about. Google Cloud, decentralized Google Cloud. That's what is being invented right now. That's what's going down on May 1st. They're going to release the first version of it, the beta version. Everybody's going to be able to store data securely on Theta Edge nodes, and everybody's going to have an Edge node. And you secure it in little, they call it shards, so that nobody can put it together unless you have the private key. And then the ability to share your computing, your excess computing power on your devices, on your TV, on your computer, on your phone, and earn Theta fuel for doing all this stuff. You wouldn't do it for free, but you do it if you didn't have any money. Hitomi saw it as universal basic income. Theta fuel. People always ask me, do you still like Litecoin? I say, absolutely. Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. I didn't write those words just because it rhymed. I use Litecoin as a means of exchange. When I want to buy something, I'll use Litecoin. If I want to invest in something, I'm probably not going to invest in Litecoin. I'll invest in something that has long-term investment reasons. For example, Theta and Theta Fuel. And if I want to ensure that this whole thing doesn't get thrown sideways by the SEC and the U.S. government and powers that be, I get some Veritasium. There's a couple others I have, but those are the main ones. And this is not rocket science. By the way, I like Bitcoin Cash better than Bitcoin at these valuations. I've always liked Bitcoin Cash, even though everybody hated Roger. I got what he was saying. Bitcoin had been totally corrupted. The core developers. Bitcoin is a pet rock now. It is just it's a store of value. That's all they want it to be used for. Everything else can be run out of Litecoin, is what the core developers and the Bitcoin maximalists, completely clueless. It was so hard for them to get to where they understood Bitcoin, and then their brain shut off. That's what I feel about Bitcoin maximalists. Their brain just shut off. It was so hard to make that jump from gold to a standalone asset, Bitcoin, and then they saw how great Bitcoin was, and then their brain just shuts off. It's like when people yell out, "You're a conspiracy theorist." Once that's said, everybody's brain shuts off. Hey, I'm not dissing on everybody. I think, hey, your stupidity has made me very wealthy, and many people I know very wealthy. You cannot stop. You have to be proactive. Cliff High, if you're static, you're gonna die. You're going to die. You have to be moving around. You have to be thinking and changing and adapting. And everything 5 years from now is going to be completely different than what it is right now. Completely different. And if you sit there and you stay and say, "Oh, I am a Bitcoin maximalist," you will lose badly. Because that may change too. Everything is changing. Hyper novelty. Everything is changing. That's what I got for you today. Yeah, it's crazy. But hey, may we live in interesting times, right? Again, today, the 5th of March, April, sorry. Did I say March early? April. I'm losing my mind. April 5th is the last day, midnight Pacific time. This is the last day we're giving away the Veritasium token for private road subscription or renewal. We'll just tack on years to your current expiry date, and we will mail you one Veri token, load it on a Veritasium on a paper wallet. Just take that, and especially if you don't have any crypto and you don't understand it, just take that piece of paper, stick it in your vault with your silver. And then one day, if Cliff's data comes true, that the U.S. government comes to Reggie Middleton says, "Help us," a collapse in the financial system, with everybody not knowing what assets are what, that is exactly how Veritasium will get implemented according to Cliff's data. And that data doesn't lie. It's the way it's interpreted, you know? And nothing, psychics and remote viewing and all that, it gives us a glimpse into the future. It doesn't tell us the future. The future is not written in stone. Everything changes at all times, and you have to be dynamic. You can't be static. Be dynamic. All right. You want to learn more? By the way, if you're not subscribed to the free public road updates, put your name and email in there, and that's why when the internet goes down, I'll be able to track you down later when it comes back up. And yes, the internet going down would end the cryptos. When it comes back up, cryptos will be exactly where they were before. And if it doesn't come back, we're all dead anyway. So what does it matter? Gold will be worthless. Yeah, melting down nuclear power plants. And I have gold. Congratulations. I'd rather have a ham sandwich than gold in that situation. That's my ham sandwich theory. When people say it has no intrinsic value, it's backed by nothing. Gold's backed by nothing. No, but gold is gold. Some people argue gold is backed by the labor. It's a crock of shit. That's an intrinsic cost. Everybody, value is relative. If you're sitting on a desert island and you're the only one there and you've been there for 5 days and you have your choice of an ounce of gold or a ham sandwich, which are you going to take? You're going to take the ham sandwich all day long. Come on, people. It's time to wake up out of your slumber. Even if you think you're awake, you're not. I know I'm not awake. There's so many things I don't know. But that's the key. Make sure you tell yourself that you don't know this stuff and you have to learn it or you're going to die. And the whole you're going to die part is getting closer and closer and closer. If you're not acting and moving and reacting and it's like my logo. Check out the guy riding his Theta bike into the future. That bike can turn anywhere. It can go off-road. You have to be able to do that with your life and with your investments and with your friendships and with where you live. What's going to happen if there's a massive earthquake? Where are you going to run to and how are you going to get access to your assets? All that stuff should be going swirling around in your head. You should not be able to sleep these days. Because it's your soul telling you need to think, keep thinking, keep moving, keep reacting. Don't be static, be dynamic. Cliff has screamed that at me for so long now. You have to move. You have to think. You have to change the way you look at everything and continually change. All right, that's what I got for you today. Again, I have posted the Jenny Moonstone discussion. Great stuff on there. Go check it out on the private road. And as of midnight tonight, we're going to end the Veritasium giveaway. We're going to move on to another Theta giveaway. We're not sure yet how many we're going to give away. But we'll be giving away the Theta Fuel, and T-Drop on paper wallets. These are gifts. We are not selling cryptos, SEC. We are not selling cryptos. These are gifts for subscribing to a 1-year subscription to the private road at Road to Ruta. You get access to 3,000 pages of articles, massive amounts of private videos, all kinds of stuff. So go check it out, roadtoruta.com. It explains what it's all about. And subscribe today. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.